It plops onto your doorstep in the wee hours of the morning. It's the Dominion Post, and tens of thousands of readers depend on this newspaper as their primary connection to their community. You wake up, walk out your door, and there it is. Simple. But how did it get there? That's a little more complicated. It all starts here at the Greer Building in Morgantown, home to the Dominion Post. Back in 1923, Herbert Chester Greer and his wife Agnes acquired the Dominion Post. They were the founders of Greer Steel and Greer Limestone, and they were passionate about the Morgantown community and the people who live here. Today, the Greer's grandson, David A. Racy, continues the family tradition as publisher of the Dominion Post. It wouldn't be a newspaper without the news, and that's the job of the editorial department. Reporters are a newspaper's eyes and ears. They gather information by working the phones here in the newsroom, but usually they're out in the community reporting news as it happens. Reporters bring us up to date on the activities of local government, our schools, the teams we root for, and events that make our region unique. Meanwhile, the Dominion Post photographers capture the stories of life in our community. But readers need more than local news, and so the Dominion Post invests in syndicated services to bring you state, national, and international news. The newspaper relies on syndication for crossword puzzles, horoscopes, the comics, and more. Public input has its place on the opinion page. This is where state, local, and national issues are debated. The Dominion Post editorials are not just one person's opinion. They reflect a consensus of opinion that mirrors the thoughts of the editorial board. The Letters to the Editor section offers a bulletin board for readers to express their views. Here in the editorial department, the job is much more than day-to-day news coverage. The mission is empowerment. Empowered citizens know what the issues are to make informed decisions on Election Day. They know how their taxpayer dollars are spent. The Dominion Post helps readers gain the knowledge that they need to improve the quality of their lives because your day matters. How does a newspaper make money? It's not just by selling the printed newspaper itself. The major source of revenue for the Dominion Post or any newspaper is advertising. Newspaper advertising has three basic categories: retail, classified, and national. In retail, advertising account executives have the job of selling ad space to area businesses. The goal is to match each client with an advertising strategy that fits the unique needs of that business. Generally, the bigger the ad, the more the cost. Sometimes advertisers provide the newspaper with their own ads, but often graphic artists at the Dominion Post create the ads. They're trained to design advertising that grabs the reader's attention and gets the best results. In the Dominion Post classified section, you can find just about anything. It's the place to look for garage sales or used equipment. You can find a lost puppy, a new house, or a new job. The classified advisors are experts at selecting just the right wording and will put your ad in the proper place. Some national advertisers reach Dominion Post readers through inserts. These colorful leaflets are printed elsewhere and inserted to the paper during the overnight press run. Editorial and advertising come together in the production department. First step, layout. The pre-press production staff uses computer programs to compose each page of the newspaper. Initially, blank spaces for the ads are positioned on each page. Then, these layouts are electronically sent to editorial, where the news and photos are added. Editorial also develops page layout and design, and then sends it all back to pre-press. The final stage of pre-press is to proofread each page. Now the electronic phase of production is over. From this point forward, there's no turning back. The electronic page images start to become hard copy in the computer-to-plate room. Think of this dimly lit room as a photographer's dark room, and think of this giant machine as a photo developer. Only instead of printing photos on paper, this plate setter makes an image of each paired newspaper page on a wafer-thin sheet of aluminum. Next, this machine prepares each aluminum plate for the press. It cuts a locator notch on the plate and bends a lip on each side. The press technician uses this to align the plate on the press, ensuring that each page comes out clearly and free of distortion. There are 50 places to hang plates on this giant press. This is the original Dominion Post printing press, purchased in 1966. It's been upgraded several times, and now it's worth about $15 million. Now it's close to midnight. While most of us are sound asleep, these technicians are hard at work here in the press room. Giant rolls of newsprint weighing 800 to 900 pounds are hauled into place. In the meantime, the ink fountains are loaded from 55-gallon drums. The plates are hung, the ink and the paper are loaded. Finally, the press is ready to run. The page image is transferred from the aluminum plate to the paper as it runs through these powerful rubber cylinders. This is the process known as offset printing. Each page of the paper runs through 4 colors in this order: cyan, magenta, yellow, and black. Even though you see many colors in the finished product, only these 4 colors are used. This is what is meant by 4-color printing. Over the next several hours, 3 to 6 tons of paper will roll through this press. It goes faster than the eye can see, and it appears to happen effortlessly. But in fact, a great deal of craftsmanship is involved. Highly trained press operators are constantly at work, making the necessary tweaks and adjustments that result in a perfectly printed product. After the compiled papers run through the folder, the newspaper emerges. This is the very image of the phrase, hot off the press. The Dominion Post prints more than 20,000 newspapers every day, 26,000 on Sunday, all in about 2 hours. Now on to the mailroom. Here is where the paper is assembled for distribution. Here is where the advertising inserts are dropped into the newspaper. This so-called stacker is controlled by a computer system tied to the circulation database. It bundles the papers into the exact number needed on each specific route. Then it's out the door, where the circulation department takes over. It's now about 2 a.m. Rain or shine, these circulation department drivers and contractors are here at the Dominion Post loading dock. gathering bundles of newspapers to deliver to their final destinations. Nearly 8 million newspapers come through these doors every year, and these are the folks charged with delivering them to the readers on time every single day. About 25% of the newspapers go to the convenience stores, grocery stores, any retail business where newspapers are sold. Some of them are available for sale in vending racks. The vast majority of newspapers are slated for home delivery. These are 170 newspaper routes spread over north-central West Virginia and southwestern Pennsylvania. Home delivery is an enormous job and a grueling one for more than 100 contractors. The young bike-riding paperboy is, well, for the most part, a thing of the past. These contractors are adults who deliver the newspaper by car, although some in-town routes are still covered on foot. Inevitably, though, a customer can get missed. All it takes is a call to the Dominion Post, and a customer service representative promptly dispatches a driver to hand-deliver the newspaper. The Dominion Post is especially proud of its customer service record, fewer than 1.5 complaints per 1,000 newspapers delivered. Of course, these days, there's more than one way to read the Dominion Post. The electronic edition of the newspaper has been available since January of 2005 and has more than 1,400 subscribers in 48 states and 7 countries. But no matter how the newspaper gets to its readers, get there it must by 6 a.m. on weekdays, 7 a.m. on Saturday and Sunday. And that's how it happens, 365 days a year. Even as you read your morning paper, the whole process is all happening all over again. More than 140 employees are hard at work around the clock, producing West Virginia's fastest growing newspaper. Because your day matters.